Hey YouTube, it's me again, it's Jolanda, and I'm coming to you with my chit chat recap of This Is Us Season 1, Episode 15, Memphis. And do my eyes look a little bit puffy? As they should, because I was bawling, you guys. I was seriously bawling. Kind of like almost to the end. Not at the very end, but almost to the end. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we have a flashback. A woman and a man are laying in bed together. The man is rubbing the woman's shoulder, her stomach, and he's singing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." And then we see this same gentleman. He's dressed up in an army, I think, uniform, and he leaves. So we start making our assumptions that this is probably William's parents, just based on the timetable, the setting. And then two soldiers come to the door, knock on the door, and of course you know that scene when they tell you that something's happened to your loved one. It's two police officers, two soldiers, whatever. You know, it's never good news when two officers of any sort show up at your door. And so William is born, and his mom says to him, "You're gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay." So then that's our flashback. That's the beginning scene. And I actually had to look down and make sure I was still watching This Is Us, because it was totally different setting and characters. And so I was like, okay, so we're in the flashback here. We go to present time, and Rebecca and Randall are in in a doctor's office. Okay, sorry, I had to turn on another light because I couldn't even see my notes. So Rebecca and Randall are in a doctor's office, and Randall wants to take William to Memphis. And the doctor, they're talking about basically everything that happened since last episode in Randall's life. Like, he had this mental break, he wasn't doing so well, but they're having a conversation. Randall's pleading his case basically to Rebecca that he's doing better. All of his stress tests are coming back normal. So the doctor says, yeah, you're clear to go. So Rebecca's worried, but she's always adorable. So they come outside, into the waiting room, and William and Randall bump fists, and they're like, yes, we're on our way to Memphis. So next we cut in. William and Randall are in the car, and Randall's, he's got his plan together. He's like, we've got our maps. We're going to do this old school. All I need you to do is just stay ahead of me. Just tell me when to make our turns. And William goes, okay, give me the maps. William takes the maps, throws them out the window. He's like, forget these maps. We're about to just, we're going to chill. We're going to kick it, relax. This is our ride to Memphis. We're not going to stress out. We're not going to plan. It's Jersey to Memphis. It's easy. We'll get there. We have another flashback. William and his mom are at a train station. William's mother, apparently, William's grandmother, isn't doing well. She's in Pittsburgh. William's mom is going to be with her. So William sees her off. She admonishes him to do good, don't follow that crazy cousin of his, and, just everything's going to be okay. She'll be back shortly. We flash to William and Randall. They're in the car, and William is talking about the ducks at the Peabody. They're just having, regular road trip conversation. Randall reaches back, grabs a bag of snacks that Rebecca, apparently she's also packed instructions on the snacks. So it's like everything is very official with Rebecca, and rightfully so. She's probably very concerned about Randall's well-being and his health, and so she's wanting to make sure that he definitely stays on top of doing what he needs to do to take care of his health. And so then they start talking about Jack, and I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. So William is talking to Randall about what happened. So was it a nervous breakdown? What exactly happened? Randall's telling him all the medical terms. It's a stress-induced illness, all of these different things. And he said, but you know what? My dad used to always be able to help me through it. I've always struggled with these. And so William asks Randall, well, what did he do? And Randall begins to explain that Jack would help him breathe through them. He would put his hands on his face and breathe with him. and that would help him to get through it. And so then William starts to ask Randall about Jack, and this is, what did you, I can't remember exactly how he put it, but Randall begins to say, the thing that I remember about him is that he had this laugh. His laugh was like, he was surprised that he could laugh that deep. He was larger than life, is what Randall says he remembers about Jack. And you can just see the love that Randall had for Jack. And so William goes, take me to meet your father. So he tells him, he's buried, that's going to be a half days away, where we scattered the ashes. Kate has the urn, but we scattered some of the ashes by this tree. And William's like, take me there. So Randall takes William to the tree. William goes to the tree where Jack was, where some of his ashes were scattered. He talks a little bit to Jack, tells him to kind of thanks him. And then he goes over, he says, cool. And then he goes over to Randall and he says, I like him. And it was just a real cool, William is just like the coolest dude ever. He's just like, cool. Yeah, I like him. And so then Randall goes over and says something to, I don't remember if Randall said anything at the tree or not. Let me know in the comments below. But they get back in the car, and then there's a flashback. William's in this apartment and he's surrounded by these records. Next thing you know, we're at this club, he's playing with the band, and he appears to kind of be the square, so to speak, of the group. They're the rest of the band members are chasing women, they're talking about women, they're drinking, they're smoking pot, and William is over at the bar. He's not drinking or anything, he's just writing. He's a consummate artist. He's writing. And finally, his cousin comes over, and I later figure out that his cousin's name is Rick or Ricky. He comes over and he says, what do you have? He says, I think I have a song. And Ricky looks at it and he's like, man, you got it. Now we're talking. Now we can do some things. I've been waiting for this. And Ricky starts singing the song that William wrote. And the song is a hit. You start to see them going, I guess, to different clubs, and they're playing it. And William's mom calls kind of maybe as they're kind of taking off, and he gets on the phone with his mom and he just says, okay. Sorry, I don't want my phone to slip off this stand again. And he says, okay. And that's all we hear. And with Randall and William, and Randall's talking to William about how he likes making the bed. Even though he's at a motel, he gets some joy and some it's gratifying to him for him to make the bed. So he's making the bed. William's obviously in pain as Randall helps him get up and get out of bed, and they finally ride into Memphis. Sorry, I got a piece of hair in my eye. They finally start to ride into Memphis, and you can just feel the energy of Memphis. If you've ever been to the South, if you've ever been anywhere like Memphis, I've been to Memphis once, and I was just like, this place is so cool. You see, the historic places that you see on TV, the music places, and Stax Records, and you kind of get swept up in the history of the city. And then William reminds me so much of my mom because he starts telling these stories about, you could go in there and it was fresh meat. I mean, this was really fresh meat, basically. You go in, you pick the chicken you want, the butcher takes it, kills the chicken, plucks all the feathers, and there's your chicken. Now, that's a fresh chicken. It totally reminds me of some story my mom would tell me. And then they get to William's old house. They go inside, the owners let them inside, and William says, I want to see if my treasure is still here. He pulls a brick away from the fireplace, and back behind the brick are 3 quarters and 2 toys, or 2 or 3 toys. And he takes those little treasures, and then they leave the house. And Randall's kind of like, God bless you. Thank you for letting us in. I didn't know that was going to happen, but okay. So then it's as if William is showing Randall him. He's unveiling himself. First, he starts with the toys, the treasure, and then he takes them to his favorite barbecue joint or eatery. And they enjoy food, and you can tell Randall he is into it. He's like, yes, I'm loving this place. They're eating, and then their next stop is the barbershop. And of course, there's all the barbershop talk. William is really, he's like, this is me. This is the essence of who I am as your, your biological father. And then lastly, they go to the black and white drinking fountain, which is another one of those, it brings back so much history, of that area. And in the Lorraine Hotel or motel, they also showed, which is where Martin Luther King was killed. And so you just got all of this history, and I thought it was wonderful to have this. The writers and the producers of This Is Us, hats off to you guys, because this is Black History Month. February is Black History Month, and it just took you through the richness, the essence of Black history, just in the, in small little nuanced ways. And I was in love. I was in love with the show. I was in love with the cinematography, and I was just in love with everything about it. Next, we have a flashback, and William is leaving for Pittsburgh. We know he had that phone call in the last flashback, and he said, okay. So we find out that he's going to Pittsburgh to care for his mother. He gets a pep talk from his cousin. His cousin hands him some cash. He's off on his way. Then we're in current times, and Ricky, who's William's cousin, and William and Randall all meet face to face for the first time. Ricky's sitting at the bar. It's that same place. Randall comes in. He's like, hey, how you doing? He says, I know who. He says, it's William. William says this to Ricky, and he says, I know who you are. Get the hell out of my club. Ricky is not happy to see William. We're like, whoa. But Randall is super excited. He's like oblivious to any of the tension. He's like, so you're my cousin? So that means you're my second cousin. Does that mean you're my cousin once removed? I mean, he is like, this is the first time he's actually met blood relatives, and he is stoked about it. So we cut from there, and we flash back to William and his mom again. He's with his mom. She's very sick. She's like, William, you kind of caught me when you came in. I was in the middle of a nap. Why don't you go ride the bus? I know how much you love that. And come back, and I'll make you dinner. So William goes off and rides the bus, and they kind of show a period of time where he's riding the bus. Next thing you know, he meets this gorgeous woman, and it's Laura. We get the impression that this is Randall's mother. And she seems to be helping him at first. She seems to be assisting him with caring for his mother. We see her kind of start to get caught up with another group of neighbors that are that kind of live in that same apartment complex, like down the hall. A little ways, their door is open. You can see them. They're drinking. They're partying a lot. They're smoking. And then the day William's mother, or maybe not the day William's mother dies, but she comes staggering in. She kind of knocks something over. William's caring for his mother, and then eventually his mom passes. We're back in current times. William's apologizing to Rick. He's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Please, forgive me. I got caught up. Here's the money that basically I owe you this, and kind of slaps the money down that Rick had given him before he left for Pittsburgh. And you could tell Rick softened up. He was like, oh, who could be mean to William? William is just like, he knows that William would never do anything intentional, because he knew William was pretty much the square, like I said, and he was a good egg and a good soul. So Ricky kind of warms up to him. He's like, basically he was bitter because William left with his dream, essentially. William left with the pen that could write these original songs that could have taken them all the way to the top, and he was gone, and he never came back. And so, but he said, are you too sick? He said, I'm sick, I'm dying. I just wanted to give you this. And Ricky says, are you too sick to play? And Randall's like, I'm never too sick to play. Are you kidding me? I'm always ready. I stay ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So William, they get up on the stage, and they begin to play. We have a flashback, and William's with his mom. And so then, they get on stage, and William begins to play, and Randall is over there with his cousins. He's like, so you're a cousin, and you're a cousin, and you're a cousin, and you're a cousin. He is like on cloud 9, and plus he's drunk. He's been drinking, so he is feeling good. He's drinking happy juice. Beth calls him. She's like, thanks for sending the pictures. So apparently he's been, clicking off pictures and sending them to Beth, and letting her know, he's having a good time. He's telling her all about his cousin. She's like, "Are you drunk?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm drunk," but it's just excellent acting on Randall's part. Award for everybody in this show. I mean, their acting is amazing. And Beth is just kind of like, well, whatever. She's just glad to hear him. And I felt like he needed that. He needed that release. He needed to kind of let his hair down, so to speak. And he even talked with William about growing out an afro at one point. And, then when he got this job, he cut his afro down and, he really clean shaven, and he changed. And I felt like this was his time to like really grow his afro out again and just really figuratively grow his afro out and just really relax. And he did. And he tells Beth, he says, "You're the chocolate sauce on my ice cream," because she's asking, he's like, he wishes that she was there. And he says, "Everything is made better when you're there." I love their relationship. Oh, it's so awesome. And then I wrote in my notes, this is good for Randall, just like I was explaining. Then we have a flashback to baby William. And then we're current again, and William is still in bed. He isn't doing well at all. Randall has made up his bed, and he realizes William hasn't moved yet. And I was so scared because I thought William was dead there. But William is just not really able to move. So Randall calls the paramedics. They grab him up. They end up at Memphis General Hospital, and the doctor says that William has an hour, maybe a day at best. He's not leaving the hospital, is what the doctor says. And Randall's trying to figure out, well, if I put him on a plane, can I do this? He wants to get him back home so he can be comfortable at home to die at home. And the doctor is just like, let me just tell you, he's not leaving this hospital. He's not. And then it dawns on Randall that William knew all along this was going to be his last trip. So he's by his father's bedside, and he's reading the Bible, and he's sitting with his dad. And William takes the oxygen mask off his face, and he says, "I have something for you." He gives him a packet, and it says, "Poems for my son." Oh my gosh. I mean, William is one of the things I was thinking about as we saw the flashback of William and how artistic and intelligent William is how much of William is really in Randall as well. That genius has manifested itself in another way, but he is both Jack Pearson's son and William's son as well. He got that the essence of William as well in his blood. So he gives him the book. So William gives Randall that book of poems, and he says, and Randall says, "I wish I could get Beth and the girls here. I could have them here in a matter of hours." So he's still trying to problem solve. And William says, "I already said goodbye to them before I left, and I want them to remember looking up to me, not down." That man, William, is the bomb. He's so, so poetic. And then he launches into the speech that gets my waterworks going. William says, "I want to tell you that you deserve it. You deserve the beautiful life you have made, my beautiful boy." And you guys know I got all choked up last week because of my father and my father being dead. And that moment of being in the hospital, I remember really clearly being in the hospital with my dad and him not even being able to communicate. And you guys, I'm going to mess up my makeup. I got to go to work. And so just to have that last moment with your father, to share that and just give you his blessing before he passes, is something that is priceless. So Randall is Jack Pearson's son. Sorry, I was a little bit choked up. William tells Randall that he's scared. And so Randall puts his hands on the sides of William's face, and he breathes with William. He becomes Jack Pearson to William. puts his hands on his, and William is Randall. He puts his hands on the side of William's face and he breathes with him until William breathes his last breath. Randall heads home, and and there's a lot more that William said to Randall during that time, so go back and watch it again if you want to cry again. And I wouldn't do any of it justice, but he really does talk a lot to him about, when you ride home, let the windows down, turn up the music, let the afro grow again. He gives him some party words of wisdom. It's beautiful, you guys. It's beautiful. And so when we cut to Randall's driving home, and he has to stop because the ducks are walking across the highway. And if I forgot to mention that one of the things that William really wanted to make sure that Randall saw was these ducks. He said, oh, there's the Pearson Hotel. I got to take you, the Peabody. I got to take you to see these ducks. And they never made it, but they made it. As Randall's driving home, he sees those ducks, and they're beautiful, this family of ducks crossing the street. So Randall is immediately reminded to turn the music up in his car, and he rolls down the windows. And that is where the episode ends for tonight. Memphis, you guys, what did you think of the episode? It was different because all we got we got William's full story. All we got was flashbacks and current of William. And I thought it was beautiful. It was way easier to follow and to discuss, even though I'm still at 20 minutes, but you guys don't seem to mind. So I'm going to, I got to stick with the format. I just really like going scene by scene. This show is so good, and I hope you enjoyed this chit chat recap. Until next time, stay tuned, stay positive, leave your comments below. R.I.P. William. I thought this was a beautiful send-off for William. Hopefully this won't be the last that we'll see of him, that we'll see more, we'll see tidbits of him from time to time as the show continues. But I thought this was a beautiful send-off. Thank you, producers. Thank you, writers. Like this video, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.